Example number 2 says y equals negative 1/4 x squared. Two things different about this one. It has a negative leading coefficient, so that tells us it will face downwards, like that. It will have a maximum point, so it's the highest point is there, and everything else goes down from there. And we have a fraction. What does that fraction mean? A couple things. The greater the coefficient is, the larger the number is, the more steep your parabola will be. The more steep. The less your leading polynomial, the leading coefficient is, the smaller that number is, the more flat it will be. So you notice this one's more will look more like this compared to the other one that looked more like this, more steep. So when we pick our points, does it change the fraction? Kind of. We could pick any point and it would still work, but since we know after we square it, we will have to multiply it by a negative 1/4, or in other words, we will have to divide it by 4. It would make sense for us to pick numbers that when we square them are multiples of 4. So when I'm looking at this, I'm going to pick negative 2, actually start off with negative 4, then move to negative 2, then 0, then 2, and then 4. Could you pick 3 and 5? Yes. Would you be left with a decimal or a fraction? Yes. Could you still graph that? Yes, but let's make our life easier if we can. So if I plug in negative 4 for x squared, I'd be left with y equals negative 1/4 times negative 4 squared, or negative 1/4 times 16, or it'd be equal to a negative 4. So my first point is negative 4. Let's do the same thing for y equals, or x equals negative 2. So I'm left with y equals negative 1/4 times negative 1/4 times negative 2 squared, which is the same as negative 1/4 times 4, which would be just negative 1. So I have a point of negative 4, and a point of negative 2, negative 1. If I plug 0 in and I square it, 0 squared is 0. 0 times a negative 1/4 would just be 0. And that is our vertex once again, where our x value is 0 for now. That will be where our vertex is, So this will have a vertex of 0, 0. Step 2, well, if negative 2 was negative 1, positive 2 would be positive 1. And if negative 4 was negative 4, then 4 would be negative 4. So if I graph my points, I'd be left with negative 4, point there. Negative 2, negative 1. Vertex is at 0, 0. I have a point of 2, 1, and a point, or 2, negative 1, sorry, and a point of 4, negative 4. 4, negative 4 will be right there. And when I go to graph my points, it's going to look a little bit like this right here. As you notice, this is not as steep as the other one. And that would be our parabola for the second one. Vertex at 0, 0, symmetrical to that y-axis, and our graph matches our points, example 2.